God. But I think if they kill Mike Norris, that'll bring Chuck Norris out of retirement. We're talking to Mike Norris right now about going into overdrive with David Knight in the next hour, taking your phone calls. Maybe get Mike Norris, who just got out of the hospital today, on. We just learned about this. Chuck Norris' son, major TV and movie producer over the years, the director, one of the co-producers with Mr. Haven of Amerigeddon. And you know, it was funny. I talked about NSA whistleblowers coming to me, but they weren't NSA. They were corporate whistleblowers putting NSA equipment in. And this is all on record, these shows, interviews I did, the stuff I exposed like in 96, 97, 98. And that was like in 98 that I got poisoned twice. Didn't know I swelled up after events where I've been shaking hands and stuff and you know, everything. And was like calling my dad up. He's like, take Benadryl, all this stuff. And the second time they said, quit what you're doing, you know, you idiot. We've already poisoned you twice. And then I just said, go to hell. And it kind of went away. Thank God. I got physically attacked once too, and IRS stuff and the rest of it. But that's how serious they get. I mean, this isn't a game. I don't think people understand that. Absolutely. Guys, is this mic on? Yeah, they killed JFK in front of everybody. But we can't be intimidated by that.
No. And you know, that's kind of the secret of being a Christian. Nothing happens to us unless it's allowed by our God. And I'm sure you're still here for that reason. I know that I am. I mean, I've been...
It's weird. It's not an arrogant thought. I just know I'm going to be here as long as God wants me to be. And so I feel invincible.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? That's confidence. And we can't act in confidence.
And it isn't that I think I can't be beaten. It's that I know it's in God's hands.
Yeah. You know, he will only allow them to touch you when he chooses to do that. And I know I've had divine protection. You know, I've lost an engine in airplanes and middle of the night crashed on Padre Island and walked away. And, you know, when it's your time, it's your time.
It's very humbling, too, that if God decides to let them take me out for some greater good, I'm not mad at God.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we can't worry about it. We're going to go one day. Why not go out with, you remember Zig Ziglar?
Yes.
He and I were personal friends. He was a mentor of mine. And he said he wants to go through life. And of course, he died a couple of years ago, and I think he accomplished it. He wants to go through life, instead of walking around the bases intact with, you know, his clothes nice and clean, he wants to run those bases ragged, beat up, come sliding into home, yelling, man, what a ride. And I think
that's what I want, too.
Me, too.
While with battle axes, we crush globalists.
Yep.
Listen, Amerigeddon, people need to be part of the film. It's been a success. I want to thank folks for that.
Mike's ready to call in.
We do have Mike Norris on the phone. We're about to go to break, so I want to hold him into the fourth hour. I want to break in a minute and a half. Infowars.com/show. Some stations don't carry the fourth hour. Most of them do. David Knight will then come in. I have a special report that Rob Dew stayed up like a couple nights doing. He was really kind of upset yesterday. I said, Rob, relax. We can put it out later. He goes, no, I really like this report. So he stayed up all these days to do it. Rob is so dedicated about the spirit of liberty. So that's going to air at the bottom of the next hour with David Knight riding a shotgun. And I want to take a few calls, too, since Reed and Chris and Mark and Sean and Rob, everybody's been holding. So I want to honor your calls. But a lot of unforeseen stuff has happened. Gary Haven is our guest. Just very briefly, the meter's always running here. We've gone up to like 60-something crew members, 7 or 8 contractors. Not that I want to expand. I have to have reporters be able to go all over the world. We're about to do some stuff that I'm just going to leave it at that, with war coverage, with coverage of
the convention,
coverage of the conventions, coverage of, I'm not going to say it yet, but we're going to do some stuff that is, I'm doing it, but it's going to be world changing. So just, and folks, you've seen us deliver. So we're not playing games. We're potentially doing some things that are the biggest we've ever done times the next level. I mean, we're talking exponential. And so your support, get the Hillary for President shirt, and the new version is in InfoWarsStore.com. Get 20-40% off on InfoWars Select super high quality storable food. We normally offer that once a year because of things being so crazy. We're offering it again. We got the producer to allow us to do this for a limited time. And get the books, the videos, so much more, InfoWarsStore.com. Get prepared, be self-sufficient. We'll be back with the fourth hour straight ahead in 70 seconds with Mike Norris, who just got out of the hospital. Now, folks, you know that these guys have been on the show many times. There's never been any drama like this. I told a story earlier that happened to me twice, that I'd go to events and then swell up and get all sick. I mean, I've been bit by bees, don't have allergic reactions. I'm not allergic to anything. And, well, I'm mildly allergic to opiates. I had a broken leg once they gave it to me and made me throw up. But I'm not allergic to a lot of stuff. And I went to events, shook hands, did stuff, DVD signings, and would swell up and like 6-7 hours later almost die. and once my dad had to actually take me to the hospital. And then I got a call saying, listen, you bastard, and in some other words, we're going to kill you next. That was on purpose. And that's what they do. They put a little rubber thing on their finger with the toxin, touch you, and you just got the call that the director of Amerigeddon, Mike Norris, son of Chuck Norris, had just got out of the hospital. He'd been at a show. Somebody touched him. He thought on the neck with a suit, just thoughts, and then he swole up later and got really sick. Mike Norris can barely talk. He joins us right now. Mike, wow, tell us what happened, my friend.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a great show with Gary. I just love listening to you guys. But, you know, I went to Florida after the shooting in Orlando, and it was very important for me to show the people that were going to see our film that I'm there with you, I support you. So I hit every theater we were in Florida in a 5-day period. Then we got called to go to Ohio. And in a show at Columbus, we had a sold-out house at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was crazy. People loved the film. I'm talking to everybody, and everybody's dressed in shorts and, you know, just very casual. And a guy, it didn't even dawn on me, and a guy in a charcoal gray suit, no tie, came up behind me, kind of patted me on the shoulder, and kind of, it didn't even, but it's what he said. He goes, interesting film, and walked away. 12 hours later, I just feel something kind of on my neck. And I'm going, what the heck is this? And luckily I was heading home the next morning, but when I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in Dayton, Ohio, or in Columbus, Ohio, my eyes were swollen shut. I could barely breathe through my throat. Wow. I thought, I've got to get home. And so I flew home, went right to the hospital. And they said it was some sort of something external. It was something that hit the outside of my skin that made it spread. And so thank God I was shot full of cortisone, whatever the doctors did. And so I feel better today, but it was a wake-up call. But I'll tell you, I'm not deterred. I'm wow. going to do everything I can to get this film. This film came from Gary Haven's mind. It is so important, and I will do anything to get it out there. And I'm going back out there. This is not going to scare me.
Well, you're a chip off the old block. I learned. Has your dad learned of this yet?
No, I haven't.
Because I remember you here like 2 years ago. Your dad said, "Hey, you know, good job. Are you willing to die for this?"
Yeah, and you know, in theory, you think, you know, I'm a big tough guy. Yeah, I am, but you know, my destiny's assured. I know that, and I really feel this movie is so important for people to see and to understand what the government does not have our best interest in mind. And if this was a nefarious act that somebody did on me, shame on him. But they will not scare me. They will not scare me. I will not be deterred, but I will have somebody watching me a little more closely.
Well, I know they're upset by the big theater deals and the movie deals and the TV deals that are being made because it's getting #2 in 27 of the first theaters, the 30 it was shown in. I mean, with numbers like this is really going to go big on the next launch.
Yeah, and we'll get it back out there after the 4th of July weekend. And, you know, it's tough right now. It's tough, but you know what? We will persevere. And I come hell or high water, this movie's important. And
Mike, stay there. I know you just got out of the hospital and having trouble talking, but I want to just finish up on the other side. I'm Alex Jones, Gary Haven, the producer and one of the major stars of the film Amerigeddon's here. And I never told that story, folks, because I tell you, I've been through some stuff, but I've had them poison me twice. I hate to talk about it, but it's real. Stay with us. I'm talking to Gary Haven here about our mutual growing up in the DFW area, which was like gladiator school for Spartacus. And he's over here telling me his stories. I'm telling him mine. It's like, wow. I moved down here to Austin. I was in high school 5 years. My dad sold his dental offices, he owned 2 of them, moved down here to get me out of trouble.
You were on a 5-year program?
I was in the 5-year program. And I learned kind of you were in that program, too. I didn't know that.
Well, actually, I was at a 3-year. They asked me to leave military school the last time I had junior year.
Exactly. What do you think it is so rough about Dallas? I think about the stuff I went through. It's like another world.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, Dallas is one of the few areas in Texas that we've created a dependency class. You know, and they're entitled, and You know, they look at people that actually produce, and then there's envy, and then, you know, the rest of the story.
How many fights do you have to get in?
Well, in military school, I went to TMI, lived in the dorm with 350 juvenile delinquents for 3 years. And I tell you, I didn't have to fight too often, because the first day of my freshman year, when I walked in the door, a senior came to me and pushed me and started to slap me around. And there was a 90-pound lamp on the desk, and I gave him a concussion with it.
You have a killer instinct. That's what I do.
Yeah. And so
I don't get in a fight and just have this big, long fight. I try to take somebody out.
Yeah, and if you're going to fight, there's no rules. You know, and my dad was a boxer, a Marine, and grew up in the roughest situation. There's no rules, and I don't pick fights. I'm a nice guy. In fact, I always support the underdog. But when somebody wants to harm me, they're going to, and it kind of brings us to where we're at today. You know, we have a lot of threats towards us, as Mike is
it's so emotional, Mike. Let's get back to Mike Norris. The stuff behind the scenes. We got to put a camera in here just during the scenes, and the behind the scenes. I mean, it's so crazy, like an app or something. You get to see what goes on, because people could just hear. John Harmon, come on the mic real quick. John Harmon at GCN, been my board op for 15 years. Done a great job. He's now a producer, one of the head sales guys down there, but he still runs my show because he loves it. What is it like for you, Harmon, to hear the behind-the-scenes conversations here?
It is absolutely unreal. There's so many crazy events that have happened over the... I mean, you just can't... You go home and you try to explain to people like, hey, I did this at work. It's absolutely insane. The stuff you hear off air.
Did you not hear Rothkopf try to get me to join the New World Order?
Absolutely. Tried to recruit you. And, yeah. I mean, it literally happened.
The thing is...
This stuff is very real.
I think about the stuff that goes on in my life, and it's like, this isn't real.
It's like a movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go back real quick here to Mike Norris. Mike, I know you just got out of the hospital. God bless you. You're hearing all these stories. You grew up, with your dad's karate school, fighting every day out in California, and crazies coming by the house with their swords. I think you told those stories. But finishing up, I started hearing about you get somebody touches you, you swell up. I mean, it just all clicks. Where is all this going from here? What do you think of what's happening currently?
You know what? I pressed on. I pressed on. I just look at myself as somebody on the front lines out right now with this film, trying to get it out there. That's my mission right now. I just admire Gary and you guys so much with your vast knowledge. I wasn't as awake as I was 2 years ago. I'm more awake now than I was 2 years ago, and it's still a continual learning experience for me to find out what's going on. And from information I get from you, a lot from Gary. I mean, he's very persistent. Read this, understand this. This is what's going on. I mean, that's how wise he is, and that's how much I respect him and you.
Well, I just love hanging out with Gary. I tell you, there's a lot of cool people I've gotten to know in this, and you and Gary are just some of the finest people out there. Problem is, we're all too busy fighting globalists to ever go out and get dinner, but that's the greatest part about being a patriot. And I'm not saying we're perfect, but let me tell you, people that are fighting the New World Order are the most genuine, real, tough, John Wayne type folks, a very race, color, and creed, compared to these. I'm sorry, I'm not bashing humpbacks, but I mean spiritually, these humpback demons like Hillary Clinton and Obama. I mean, thank God we're not like this trash.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But see, they hate the fact that we even exist.
Yeah. One of the tough things is people like us and good people, we have trouble wrapping our minds around the unbelievable evil that these people, the baby killing, the killing,
the selling body parts.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a weakness because we can't understand the evil that these people are. But we better wake up and try to.
That's right. I hate to do it. That's why I get so sad. I have to get in the mindset of the enemy, and I can do it. And I tell you, these are just pit of hell. I mean, these people are like a dimension portal.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton is actually a contender for the president of this country. That one woman crime wave who has a trail of murders behind her, including Benghazi, which we now hear some more details about. She's a contender for president in this country.
And then she's a Chinese communist spy.
It's amazing that she could even be considered for dog catcher.
The problem is good men and women don't have a hunger for power. We're successful. We build things. We just fade off into we don't want to control people. So what about that paradox, Mr. Norris? What about that paradox, Mr. Haven? What do we do about the problem in history that truly virtuous, hardworking, good people, doesn't mean we're perfect, but we got goodwill, you know, we like success. We don't dislike people